station and on the app. Todd Alba.
Hey, everybody, join us next time. We'll be talking about the gubernatorial race along with Trygve Olsen, the Lincoln Project, and Pat Kreitlow of Morning to Pat Kreitlow. Join us.
The Todd Alba Show, weekdays. Broadcasting live from the Civic Media Studios in Green Bay, this is Night Lite with Pete Schwaba, your inside source on everything entertainment from Wisconsin to Hollywood.
Whatever gets you through the night, it's all right.
And now, a guy who once planted evidence so he could make a citizen's arrest, Pete Schwaba.
Welcome back to Night Lite, folks. Happy Tuesday, everybody. I am back on the air, back on the home court here in Green Bay. Had the night off last night. Had a lovely evening. Hope you did too. It's nice to take a day off once in a while. Boy, it's weird. It was Conrad, how you doing?
I'm doing great.
Conrad is back. Conrad was the reason I had to go to Madison.
Yes.
Last week. So
yeah,
I
that's
got
true.
an all expenses paid trip
You're
to
welcome.
Madison. Listen, I prefer my own bed, but no, tip of my hat and a shout out to everybody in Madison. Corey, Aaron, Sage, Zommers, Dom, Todd Alba, everybody there was just fantastic, and they're always so accommodating. So it was great. John and Gordy had me on their show. Always fun to hang out with those guys. And I got to talk to Shali Pittman, our news director.
Yeah.
A couple times. Shali, we decided we should switch last names because Shali Schwaba and Pete Pittman, that's kind of a cool thing. That's a little alliteration, never hurt anybody.
Well, now
so.
you got nicknames for each other now.
That's right. We don't even know each other that well, but she's amazing. Everybody in Madison was great last night. So an official shout out. Thank you very much, you guys. And it was great. Oh, and Luke Mathers, of course, who handled everything as always so brilliantly. So it was fun. It was a good week. Conrad, you produced 2 of the nights from here.
I did. I produced 3, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday.
You did do 3.
Yeah.
Because I was not. Where was I Monday?
You
I
were
was
in
Madison.
You were in Madison
okay.
as well.
It
on
was a
Monday.
crazy week. All right. Yeah, that was fun. I got to hang out with Todd Alba. It was an all civic media party one night. Todd Alba, Aaron Zommers, Pat Kreitlow. We went to Paul's for a couple drinks. And this is kind of weird. I saw the guy who. I think I already talked about this last week, but the guy who served me drinks at Paul's, I saw him the next day at Chipotle.
Yep.
And he was not that impressed that we ran into each other 20 minutes from Paul's.
You know,
It's kind of a weird thing.
yeah, you got to keep work at work, you know.
I guess so. He doesn't like to be pestered by the commoners, apparently. But a lot of fun. Great week in Madison. My son Joe came down on Friday, popped onto the show for a couple minutes, and we talked about... what do we talk about? Oh, F1 he saw. You know what? I should have. One of these days I'll have both you guys on because you I would say have pretty similar tastes in movies, but he did not. He was not as big of a fan of Fantastic Four as you were. We'll talk about that in just a minute too. But back on the home court, Conrad behind the board. Great to be with you guys tonight. Hope you're having a great day. Another muggy day here in Northeast Wisconsin, but a beautiful summer day nonetheless. So we got great guests tonight. At 6:35, I'm excited to have this guy back on. He's a comedian and the founder of Laughable Productions. Yes, he does comedy. He books comedy. And he also started a contest called The Funniest Person in Oshkosh. I'm paraphrasing that. I meant to look that up, and I didn't. But Ben Giles will be here at 6:35. Great guy. We've had him on the show before. And he'll be here to talk about... He's going to give us an update on how... the contest is going because it's a pretty involved contest. I think it goes through September, and I think they're in round. It's called Oshkosh's Funniest Comedian, and it goes. I think the final round is in September. So we'll get an update from Paul. He'll get to introduce himself to the audience again, and we'll have a discussion. That'll be fun. Paul's a good guy, and always fun to have him on the show. And then at 7:20. My pal Mike Siegel, who is the host of If Walls Could Talk, What You Get for the Money, Movie Break. He also hosts his own podcast called Travel Tales. Fun to talk. I'm not a big traveler. Did you go? You went to Italy last year, but would you consider yourself kind of a world traveler?
I've been to Italy, and I've been to Australia.
Yeah, I would say it's pretty good.
I've been to Canada.
I've been to Canada as well.
I've been to the Dominican Republic.
That's really technically the U.S., isn't it?
I think
It sounds exotic, though. That's okay.
Yeah.
I am not. I have not been too many places, and I never was that curious to do that. I started doing stand-up when I was like 20 and started getting work pretty quick, and I was excited to see America, and I just never, when I was younger anyway, never had a desire to travel. But now I travel vicariously through my pal Mike Siegel, who has been almost everywhere in the world. He has a map in his office at home with a pin every place he's been, and it's ridiculous. So Mike will be here at 7:20 to give us a few travel tales, and we're going to talk about, he just finished Righteous Gemstones, which I have not seen yet, and we'll probably get into a little vacation talk with Mike, as this is the day, I think he dropped in 83, 42 years ago?
And dropped in, 83.
42 years ago, Vacation hit the big screen. The Chevy Chase, the original. We'll talk about that a little bit too, and I'm sure Mike will have some lines he'll run by us and some boat stories because he does cruise ships now. So that'll be fun with Mike. And I think without further ado, before we get into our stories, let's go to the Nightlight question of the night.
Let's talk about the question.
Okay, question.
Question.
Pregunta.
Question.
Question.
Hey, I have a question. Questions? This question.
Domanda.
Question.
Question.
Questions.
What? I didn't put it on the sheet. Our question tonight, though, is it okay for people to use AI in their dating pictures or social media pictures? This is a big deal now. A lot of people are doing this. And I feel a little bit like it's like false advertising. It's not really that big a deal. I think on dating apps, it's a bigger deal because you're kind of misrepresenting yourself. On social media, who cares? You can look as good as you want. But that's our question tonight. Is it okay for people to use AI to make themselves look better on dating apps or social media? And I don't, let's be honest. There are probably like 7 really attractive people in the world. The rest of us are just all kind of in the middle.
I'm one of them.
We'll be right back after this. Would you ever do that? First of all, are you on any dating apps?
I got to know where. I didn't ask you before, but why did you pick this question? Was there something that sparked this?
I just saw an article that it's kind of on the rise and people are doing it. It's not really that controversial, but it is kind of in the dating app world.
So, is it like they're using AI to like enhance their photos?
Yes, to give themselves, let's say, more of a chin, or cheekbones, or a better hue, if you will.
I feel like these people just want to have communication on the phone then, because like what happens when you meet them in real life?
Exactly.
And it's like, wait a second. And I feel like it's been done before. It's like, it's been, Kim Kardashian's probably have people on Photoshop making her butt look bigger. But
totally. Well, although either that or she did the real thing. I've heard she's had ribs removed to make her waist smaller.
Probably.
I mean, what on earth?
And, I think you could use AI to maybe have the AI help you make a dating profile, like with the stuff behind it, like prompts or something like that. But the pictures, I think it's going too far.
I agree. And like you said, I mean, if someone does want to meet you, there's that awkward moment. I don't think you'd wait to see them and see that look of horror on their face. Like, wow, okay, this is not I think you'd kind of prepare them ahead of time so it's not too weird.
It almost turns into like a blind date when you meet that person at that point.
Yeah, exactly. I'm a married guy. I'm thinking maybe I should set up a dating account just to do some research here and make myself look like Brad Pitt or something. Is it okay for people to use AI to enhance their social media or dating site photos? Let us know, 855-752-4842, 855-75-CIVIC. You can text us on the app. Always fun to get texts on the app or the stream if you're watching on YouTube, X, or Facebook. However you're joining us tonight, folks, it's great to have you. Be part of the show. It's always so much more fun when you guys participate. So we did get a couple texts the other night. Friday, I was in Madison. I cut out at like 7:35 because we had pre-recorded content with Terry Barr. And I did miss a couple texts, which I don't like to do. Here is, we got one from Bud. Bud sent a couple. I think Daniel, I saw one from Daniel. He sent one right after I left. And our question was Wisconsin. What is your favorite Wisconsin lake or body of water? And we were also talking about the movie Caddyshack, which dropped, I believe, on Friday, like 50 years ago or 45 years ago. Daniel says, loved watching Caddyshack growing up. Ted Knight played a great snob, but Caddyshack 2, I left the theater stunned by how bad it was. Man, I wish I had the stones to leave the theater early. I just have never really done that. I pay the money and I just sit there like a fool hoping it gets better. And it never really does. But thank you for the text, Daniel. Sorry we missed you Friday night. Bud from Janesville texted us early this morning, I believe. Right, Conrad?
4:16
4:16. That's crazy. Dom was producing the show that Bud was listening to this morning because I was off last night. He says, hey, Pete and Dominic, I hope you're okay, Pete, and you weren't given the hand signal to shut up and leave the building. That's like Steve Cochran told us he did. Dominic, great choice, and replaying the Kaylin Cole interview. Love the show, Bud from Janesville. Oh, that's right. We put together our highlights from Madison for last night. That's what Bud is referring to. And Bud says, Kaylin Cole, just Googled her. Correct, Bud. Way to do your homework. Chris Casper in the 608 says the Dominican Republic is not part of the U.S. I was thinking Puerto Rico.
Yes, I was as well.
There. So there you go, Mr. Smarty Pants, Chris Casper, thinking you're so big.
I think a fist fight's coming.
I would hit him low and I would hit him fast. He would never see me coming. Although I have to say, okay, this weekend I played this game called soccer golf. I've talked about it before on the air. And just to show you what an idiot I am, we have this rule where once your soccer ball hits the tree, you're out. But if the ball caroms off the tree and hits something, if the ball hits anything throughout the course of the game that is not nature, you get a penalty stroke. Somebody's house. We have this clubhouse near where we live where it's a community shared building. So I hit the tree. The ball is rolling towards the clubhouse. I break into an all-out sprint, something I haven't done since the late 80s, and I immediately go down. And my brother says he just saw me disappear behind a building airborne, parallel to the ground. I landed on my rib cage, miraculously did not break my ribs and my shoulder, and I've got serious bruising. And I'm in pain. But nothing's broken, so I'm fine with that.
Well,
but
did you save it?
I did not. I got a penalty stroke.
Wasn't
So I
worth
didn't
it.
even save it, and I lost by one stroke. So there you go. And I got this big raspberry on my shoulder. I felt like they were like kid injuries. And if you don't sprint, you kind of forget how to do it, and you lose your coordination a little bit. Honestly, I don't think I probably haven't sprinted. I played a lot of Frisbee Ultimate like in 2019 and the summer of COVID because it was sort of COVID friendly. And I sprinted, but I haven't probably sprinted in 4 years. So I don't know what I was doing. Don't sprint, folks. That's the message. That's the message of the whole show. There's no need. If you're a grown man or woman, you don't need to be sprinting unless you are being chased. So a lot happened over the weekend. I started watching the show Dexter. Have you seen?
I haven't, but my dad has been is a big fan.
It's a good show. I'm into it. We could talk about that a little bit. You saw Fantastic Four. You also
And
saw
twice Happy Gilmore too.
Happy Gilmore 2. You thought that was the instruction. They thought you should watch it twice, and that's why they... So Conrad sat through that movie, which I've heard is bad, but gets laughs. It's like if you're an Adam Sandler fan, you're going to laugh, but everyone I know is acknowledged it's a bad movie.
He plays tribute to all the actors that were in Happy Gilmore 1.
Yeah. How about just making a good movie? That would be my advice. All right, it's Pete Schwaba and Nightlight. When we come back, I'm going to talk about the Diggers Hotline on the Civic Media Radio Network.
There's progress we have found a way to talk.
The talk of Green Bay, WGBW.
Appleton Cigar Company on College Avenue has been serving the community for over 25 years. If you are a cigar aficionado looking for a one-of-a-kind experience, you need to check out Appleton Cigar, which boasts the largest selection of cigars north of Milwaukee with over 706 cigars to choose from in a walk-in humidor. The Cigar Lounge offers an impressive variety of spirits and cocktails that pair perfectly with a premium cigar. For the full experience, come to Appleton Cigar at 415 College Ave, Monday through Saturday, 11:30 a.m. to 10:30 p.m. For more information, go to appletoncigar.com.
If you're like me and you miss hearing the front man to the glam band's Dennis Peters' voice every Friday, then here's a great way to help him out while listening to some great music. It's Amanda with another new Wisco 411 for you, brought to you by Area 509 in Appleton, and Thursday, July 31st at 6 p.m. at the Riverside Ballroom is this year's On Stage for Cancer. They will be using various performing arts to create a variety show with proceeds benefiting this year's recipient, which is Dennis. For more information, head to wgbw.fm and click events.
I'm Dan Schaefer. Let's recombobulate. After weeks of speculation, Governor Tony Evers has finally made his decision. He is not running for a third term. Evers has had an accomplished career as a dedicated public servant for 5 decades and has been a terrific governor for the state of Wisconsin these last 6+ years, and we should be grateful for his time in office. It's been a job well done. But all things must pass. In making this decision to step aside and not seek another term, Tony Evers is doing what he has done time and time again. He's doing the right thing. And perhaps in making this decision, Governor Evers can be the one to turn the tide on the Democratic Party's unwillingness to pass the torch to the next generation. In his own unassuming way, the mild-mannered former science teacher who became Wisconsin's governor can be an example to Democrats across the nation. Because we know what happens in Wisconsin politics often has ramifications that reach well beyond the state's borders.
Find all of Dan's work at the Recombobulation area.
Hey Wisconsin, it's construction season, and the Wisconsin DOT wants to help you safely navigate work zones. Check 511wi.gov or download the app for road work or closures on your route. Know before you go with 511 Wisconsin. Sponsored by the Wisconsin
Welcome back. This is Nightlight with Pete Schwaba. I am Pete Schwaba. Conrad Krieger working the board, producing the big show. So I saw this number for Digger's Hotline. You know what that is?
I have no idea.
I should have known this. I'm a one-time homeowner, and I didn't buy a house till later in life because I'm not really a home guy. But it seemed to make sense when we lived in a small town in Wisconsin not to rent anymore a house or an apartment. So we bought this great but chalet house kind of close to the water. It's a beautiful house. We love it. And I should know this, but I saw this number for Digger's Hotline. I'm like, what a weird thing to have a hotline for. Like, I just pictured it's like a party line or something from the 90s, like a bunch of dudes get on the phone and go, yeah, I like to dig too, man. It's pretty fun. What do you like about digging? But it's to pinpoint where the dangerous lines underground are when you do yard work fix up your house. And I know I've heard that before, but it just wasn't registering. So I thought it was, it's nothing I would ever do, but maybe these are nice guys. Just like to talk about digging. So, all right, so your overall opinion, Con, of Fantastic Four. My son said it was lacking sauce, which he deemed that it just didn't have a lot of flavor. But it got good reviews. But these movies all get good reviews now. So what's going on? Did you like it?
I liked it because I used to watch the Fantastic Four cartoon TV show a while ago.
Okay.
And it plays really heavy onto the fact of the cartoon. The comics, like the thing in this movie looks so close to actual in the cartoon. That's why I really liked it. But other than that, I think I can see where he's saying it lacks flavor or sauce because it takes a while to get to the huge fight scene at the end against Galactus. But when that scene comes on, I think it's awesome.
Oh, really?
And Sue Storm in that is pregnant the whole time, which could be the biggest part of the next steps is that kid.
Oh, really?
And yeah, I just really enjoyed it. And my movie experience was fun because there was one other person in the theater.
Oh wow! Just you went by yourself?
Because I was
impressive.
I was looking all day. I woke up at like 9 and was like, all right, I want to see this movie today. I went through every time slot to see. I was like, which one can I get in there? There's no one there. Found one at 2:30. It's just one guy and I. He was in the front. I was in the way back. And it was just real. I put, you know how there's a cup holder between the two seaters?
Yeah.
I put it up and put both seats inclined.
Stretched out a little bit?
Yeah, stretched out, laid down a little bit.
Was this here in Green Bay?
Yeah. No, it was. And then, you know, I think the guy accidentally let one rip during it.
Thinking he was alone, probably. That's like...
I think he thought it was going to be a silent one because he went, oh.
Oh, that is antisocial behavior at its best.
And I did have a full regular popcorn and felt sick to my stomach the rest of the day.
Dude, you can't eat that much of that stuff. I didn't, it got good reviews. Over 345 critic reviews gave it an 86% cumulative. 92% of audiences liked it. So I've heard a few people who are pretty jaded say they did not like it.
Yeah.
The big movie I want to see is Together, this like horror film with Dave Franco and Brie Larson.
Did it go down at all?
The reviews?
The RT score?
On which movie?
Together, because it was at 100% last week.
Well, it did go down. Technically, it's at 99%, which after 84 reviews, that is incredible. So that's on my list. Conrad saw Happy Gilmore 2, by all accounts, everything I've heard. It is not a good movie, but if you like Adam Sandler, if you like the first movie, you'll get some laughs. Is that a fair assessment?
Yeah, it laid heavy on the cameos, to be honest.
Oh, I heard that too.
Yeah, I mean, the cameos, there's some that were like, did you really? The Travis Kelce one was kind of funny.
Oh, that's right. He's in that too.
The golfers that they added to the movie, like the actual PGA and live golfers, so good, so funny. Like, you never see that side of them because they have to be super professional, obviously, in the sport.
Yeah.
So Xander Schauffele in it, if you know who that is.
I don't.
Hilarious.
Okay.
Hilarious in it. His only lines are, "That's what she said." 5 times.
Oh,
and
that's a ripoff of Steve Carell.
It makes no sense. Like, you got to see it to see what he says. And then
I will check it out. It got 63% on Rotten Tomatoes, the same score that the first Happy Gilmore got, 25, 30 years ago. So that's great. I mean, I just don't get it. You can give a movie a bad review and still know it's going to do well. It's on Netflix. Yeah. Critics have just turned into wusses, I think. You know, and we've talked about that before.
I think I saw the Rotten Tomato scores and I thought it was a little too high as well.
And you're a fan. Like
I'm a huge fan.
Yeah. That
I just think
should be a red flag.
The end of it could have been so much better. The beginning of the movie, hilarious.
Yeah.
And that they have this huge, I don't even know how to explain it. It's just, but the one thing I think that kind of screwed them, like they had to rewrite the scripts after the original.
They did that a lot, yeah.
Well, because
Carl Weathers,
he passed away, which sucks. So I saw an interview where he said he had to rewrite half of the movie because of that.
Our question of the night is it okay for people to use AI to enhance their social media or dating site photos? We've got some social media responses, a few texts rolling in. We'll get to those as the show goes on. Coming up after the news, Ben Giles. He is behind the funniest comedian in Oshkosh contest and the founder of Laughable Productions. We're going to see where his contest is because it's a months long dealio. And they are about to enter round 4. We'll talk about that with Ben. And Mike Siegel's coming up later. Be part of the show, folks. Love it when you guys join up. It's Pete Schwaba and Nite Lite on the Civic Media Radio Network.
All right. Let you know, girl, you're looking good. You're out of sight. All right. Just move yourself and you glide like a 747 and you lose yourself in the sky among the clouds in your heaven cause. Let this groove.
Art to Bay Settlement, 97.9 WGBW. Join the family. Civic Media has a number of great jobs across the state open now at civicmedia.us/careers.
For Civic Media News, I'm meteorologist Brittany Merlot. It's so hot out that you need to watch the road. A smooth ride can quickly turn bumpy and dangerous. And here's why. When something's heated, molecules begin to vibrate and move more, making more space between them, expanding. And pavement slabs do just that and push against each other. Called a pavement buckle, it can sometimes blow up. It can happen on local roads and even on the interstate.
If you are going at high speeds, depending on the severity of the buckle, it can cause the car to go in a different direction, or you might go over it and wonder, like, what was that? Because you might feel a little heat from the road.
That's Rebecca Simkowski, the director of Wisconsin Department of Transportation, Bureau of Highway Maintenance.
So it is a safety concern when people hit those. Unfortunately, we don't know when it's going to happen. They're difficult to predict. I mean, if we could predict them, I think we would take some safety precautions, but at this time, we just don't know when it's going to happen.
Try not to drive over a buckle if possible. Instead, slow down and get into another lane.
We really want them to be safe. And if there is a condition that they see, or, they can report that, and we'll try to get that addressed as soon as possible. And then I mentioned 511, that information, when roadways are closed or there's issues, we'll post those so they can always be aware of what's happening in their area.
Good news, relief in the temperature surges in on Wednesday, and crisper, cooler, sunny conditions will prevail. For Civic Media News, I'm meteorologist Brittany Merlot.
On your entertainment beat, I'm Pete Schwaba. Phineas and Ferb are coming back in 2026. Season 5 is currently on the air, but it's being called a revival. At Comic-Con last week in San Diego, the producers celebrated said revival of the Disney show, which launched 10 new episodes June 5th, and announced that the next batch of episodes will drop next year. Phineas and Ferb debuted in 2007, but went off the air in 2015. The USA Network has announced it has canceled Resident Alien, despite the show carving out a nice following over its 4 seasons. The announcement was made right before the season 4 finale last week. The sci-fi comedy is about an alien who is also a doctor in a small town and tries to conceal his identity. The show is based on a book of the same title. Executive producer Chris Sheridan says he wasn't totally caught off guard by the surprise, and for what it's worth, says the season 4 finale episode is his favorite of the whole series. For more showbiz fun, tune in to Night Lite with me, Pete Schwaba, weeknights from 6 to 8 p.m. on the Civic Media Radio Network.
Rebuilding and refreshing local radio one station at a time. This Civic Media radio station is proud to be a part of your community. Learn more at civicmedia.us.
I'm meteorologist Mace Michaels. Mostly cloudy tonight, slight storm chance, and a low in the mid-60s. For tomorrow, a mixture of sunshine and clouds, still a chance of storms, and highs in the mid-70s. Sun's back for Thursday. Highs again mid-70s. Currently, it's 87.
Matt and Air on Air.
Corrine Hendrickson, you mentioned a conversation with Ron Johnson, Corrine, about the need for childcare in Wisconsin. How did that go?
I said, why don't you think we should fund? And he goes, I think an elegant solution, it would be for moms like you to stay home so the other moms can go to work. And I said, well, and I shouldn't get paid for that? And he just kind of stared at us. And I said, that tells me all I need to know.
Matt and Air on Air, weekday mornings 9 to 11 on your local Civic Media radio station and on the app. The Todd Albaugh Show.
NFL Hall of Famer, College Football Hall of Famer, Mr. Joe Thomas. You were telling us a little bit about being drafted number 3. You skipped the draft.
I went fishing that day, and I never did it for anything other than I just much rather spend the day fishing with my dad, and I'm hoping that that's a story that keeps being told and gives people a reason. Like, you know what, instead of working today, I'm going to go fishing with my kid. I'm going to make the time because it's impactful. It's memories that they're going to remember for the rest of their life.
The Todd Albaugh Show, weekdays 2 to 4 on your local Civic Media radio station and on the app. Maggie Dawn.
At 4:30, I'm joined by Lisa White.
This is Nightlight with Pete Schwaba, a Tuesday night version as we broadcast live from downtown Green Bay, all over our beautiful state of Wisconsin. Thanks for being with me tonight, folks. We've got a great show tonight. Ben Giles will join us in just a minute. He is the founder of Laughable Productions, a fine Oshkosh resident, and the creator of the funniest comedian in Oshkosh competition. So we'll talk to Ben in just a minute. Mike Siegel is here at 7:20. He is the host of the Travel Tales podcast, and he has also hosted such shows as What You Get for the Money, If Walls Could Talk, and Movie Break. And we'll talk to Mike at 7:20. Our question of the night is it okay for people to use AI to enhance their dating profile photos and social media photos? I think you could argue that one is better than the other or more acceptable than the other. But let us know what you think at 855-752-4842. We will get to your texts soon. And right now, I'm excited to welcome this gentleman who's been on the show before. He's a great guest. He's a funny guy, and he is the facilitator of all things funny through his Laughable Productions. He joins us now on the stream, Mr. Ben Giles. Hey, buddy.
Hey, Pete. How are you doing?
Doing very well. How's it going?
It's going great. I've been looking forward to this all day. I even unbuttoned one of my buttons, ready to let loose and have some fun. I really appreciate you having me.
Oh, it's our pleasure, buddy. It's we've got a lot to talk about because you have this great contest. You're also a comedian. And before we get to the competition, which I love that you stretched it out over months, but we'll get to that in a second. First, if people haven't heard you on the show before, tell us a little bit about yourself and your background, Ben.
Absolutely. So I'm Ben Giles. I am the founder and president of Laughable Productions. We are a comedic production company that was founded in 2019 with the goal of bringing more unique and funny experiences to the Fox Valley area and now beyond. I mean, we've been doing shows all over the state now. And we are so excited. I am so excited. I have done improv comedy, stand-up comedy, acted in a lot of shows, whether that be musical theater, plays. And it has been just a passion of mine to make people laugh and make people feel good and comfortable. And so that was really the goal of bringing Laughable Productions together. In my personal life, I have a family, a new family, wife, and a new baby, 8-month-old
nice.
Little guy.
Is he
moved
funny?
to Oshkosh. He is. He honestly,
Okay.
He's always laughing, smiling, and blah 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 blah. In a way, I think he's going to be a comedian. He's got his eyes set on the stage for sure.
Love it. That's great. Well, that's exciting. And what made you, with the new family, Ben, also being a comedian and someone who's done improv, what made you want to get on the business side of things? Like I know a lot of comics do that. I was always just wanted to write jokes and perform. I don't think I ever had it in me to wrangle or manage comics or bring shows to people. Is that stressful? And what's that like?
Yeah, it's definitely stressful. I recently brought a producer on board. Shout out to Cody Krupp, former sports reporter at Fox 11. Cody and I grew up together, and he started producing some of our shows to kind of take some of that stress off of me, because for the last 6 years, I've been the one producing all of our shows. But yeah, it is a really stressful process. But really the reason I want to do it is, when I moved back after college, I went to UW-Madison, I graduated, I did comedy there. I was in a dinner theater, I was on an improv team, and I moved to Fond du Lac, and I was like, where is all the comedy? I mean, we didn't have a comedy club. We didn't have any dinner theaters. We had good community theater presence, but that was, standard, plays and musicals, right? Not necessarily producing comedy shows or improv. And so I had the great fortune of meeting some really funny people when I first came back to Fond du Lac. And I was like, if we truly want to see more comedy and more fun in the Fox Valley area, then we got to be the ones to do it. So that's exactly why we started it up. And it was great when we first started. We started doing dinner theaters, and then we made an improv team, and we started doing a lot of improv shows. We had a standing show at the Arts Center downtown in Fond du Lac on the first Friday of every month. And that really opened a lot of doors for us to really start entertaining and making people laugh.
So when you say dinner theater, are they watching improv, or do you guys actually put on comedic plays? What's the entertainment like?
Yeah, so the dinner theaters are murder mystery dinner theaters. So
Okay.
basically, like audience members will come, and they'll assume an alias and a character, and then someone ends up, there's a victim, they die,
Yeah.
a fake death, and then
Ideally.
it's the job of the audience to then solve the crime. And there's clues, there's a lot of audience interaction, but it's a lot of improv too. Like we have two detectives that kind of guide everyone through the night, and they're interrogating people, they're looking through clues, they're bringing people up from the audience. So it is very interactive, but it is a lot of improv. It's a lot of comedy, but it's also, it gives people an opportunity to kind of get out of their shell. And if you're, afraid of coming to the dinner theater because you don't want to get called on, we know who to call on. We know the people in the audience to pull up. That'll be good entertainment value. So we definitely don't want to put anyone in a situation where they're like, no, don't call on me. Don't call on me. No, we're good at that.
You can literally read the room, which is important for comedians and people performing like that. I've always wanted to try one of those. I've heard those dinner theater shows or the murder mystery shows are a lot of fun. Is there a comedy club in Oshkosh, Ben?
There used to be, not anymore.
Okay. Huh.
The Oshkosh Arena has kind of been our pseudo comedy club for the last 9 months. With all these Oshkosh Funniest Comedian shows that we've been producing there, and then bringing in Josh Blue, national headliner, winner of Last Comic Standing and runner-up for America's Got Talent. And they've been known to bring in big acts in the past. They brought in Bert Kreischer, and everybody saw the video of Bert at Pete's Garage after with his shirt off behind the bar. And so we're trying to make some magic comedy moments here. And who knows, maybe there is a comedy club in the future under the Laughable Productions tag. I can never say never. But as of right now, we love partnering with places. We love going into venues, and we love making unique experiences for people at places they may not have experienced before.
That's so cool. So, all right, let's talk a little bit about the contest. Give us the broad strokes or what it entails, how many rounds, Oshkosh Arena is the venue, but how many rounds, how many comics have you had? This is a lot to get through because the last time you were here, I think you were just launching it.
Yes.
And now I know the finals aren't until September. So you're dragging it out, which is kind of cool, I think.
Yeah, honestly, I think dragging it out, it has been a monthly series. It's been a really good thing for us. But there are 4 preliminary rounds for the Oshkosh Funniest Comedian. We had round 1 in May, round 2 in June, round 3 in July. Then round 4 is coming up on Friday, August 15th at the Oshkosh Arena. And then the finale is September 13th. And basically how those first 4 rounds have gone is we've had anywhere from, 8 to 12 comedians each round that 8-minute set. They get an 8-minute set to perform. And then there's a panel of judges and an audience vote. And then every night we crown one winner of the preliminary round. And then that winner gets to go to the finale to open for Josh Blue. And then Josh Blue is going to join our judging panel, help us judge, and then he's also going to do a set as well. He's going to perform about 45 to 60 minutes of some stand-up comedy for the audience. And it's been really great reception. I mean, we've had crowds of over 100 almost every single round so far.
Oh, nice.
I mean, the comedians are really thrilled because it's tough to get people to come and fill seats for a comedy show sometimes, especially when we're doing it in a big venue, right? Like a comedy club that seats 70, sure. You can fill it up with 30 to 50 people and feels like a really full show. But then when you have an arena that has so much space and, it's really impressive that we've been able to garner so much attention and get so many people in there. And the first 3 rounds that we've done, we have 3 winners so far. The audience and our panel of judges have both agreed on who they thought the top comedian was each time. So that was also a plus for sure.
That's got to be a relief, too. My guest is Ben Giles. He's the founder of Laughable Productions and the funniest comedian in Oshkosh competition, which they are about to do round 4. Is it 3 or 4 on August 15th?
4.
Okay, round 4. It starts at 7 p.m. at the Oshkosh Arena. It sounds like a great time. Ben, how local are the comics? And do you allow them to come in from out of state, or is it just Wisconsin? Is it just the Fox Valley? How does that work?
Yeah, so the first year that we did this, we really wanted to make sure that we had a lot of comedians competing and that we had a really well-rounded competition. So we did open it up. We have some folks that have traveled from the Chicago area. There are a lot of local comedians that are in it. I think every round we've had at least, 1, 2, 3 comedians from Fond du Lac, Oshkosh, Appleton, Green Bay area. But, as it evolves, we do want this to be an annual event. And I do think that we're going to be a little more strict next year now that we have some notoriety and the competition has kind of got some wheels on it. It's a well-oiled machine. Next year, we'll definitely limit it a little bit more to try to get more of that nailed down to maybe just the Wisconsin area. But I was really impressed. I mean, we had over 50 comedians submit to be in the competition. And basically our biggest thing when we were evaluating, we wanted to make sure that they had stage time so that they had performed at a club or at an event and that they had a recorded set and that they could do at least 10 minutes. I mean, those were the two things that we were really looking for. And we didn't really turn many people away. We wanted to give comedians an opportunity to really showcase themselves and let the audience choose. And I will say, we've had some really funny people, especially the last 2 rounds. The last 2 rounds were tough because there was some good competition, and the audience had a great reaction to a lot of the comedians. And it's perfect for Laughable Productions too, because we produce shows all over the place. We have a new video series that we're working on. It's Feel Good Friday. It's a monthly series. And we've been pulling talent from all of these comedians to help with a lot of our other content too. So it's been a good door opener to get to know more comedians and get them involved. And, we typically, at Laughable Productions, we try to make everyone whole in every production we do. We're definitely not, it's not like I'm some money hoard here and, I'm trying to take advantage of comedians. All of our productions are paid productions. And so that's one thing that I pride myself on. And we've actually pulled probably 10 to 12 comedians from this pool of people that have already performed to help with dinner theaters, to help with video series.
Oh, great.
Which is awesome because we're building a community, really is what it comes down to.
Yeah. And it's great exposure for all the comics. And I love that you put in the parameters with the time, like 10 minutes. You have to be a real comic. If you can do 10 minutes, that shows you at least are no stranger to comedy clubs, because I'm sure you didn't want people just signing up thinking they were funny at family parties and they get up there and it's an absolute train wreck. So is this a contest? We've got to do a break in about 30 seconds here, Ben. But Are you in the contest or are you just running it?
No,
conflict of
I'm
interest?
not in the contest. I'm one of the judges.
Okay.
And I am also the host. I host all the rounds, and I will be hosting the finale as well. So you will hear me sling some jokes. I mean, I do open and I prime the crowd. I do about 5 to 7 minutes, and a lot of crowd work too in the beginning. Getting to know the crowd, getting the crowd ready for what they're about to experience. So I love that. Honestly, I sometimes like hosting more than I like actually doing stand up.
Oh, that's great. All right, Ben Giles is my guest. We're going to do a very short break, and he's going to come back, and we're going to actually name some names who are in this next round. You won't want to miss that, folks. It's Pete Schwaba and Nite Lite with Ben Giles on the Civic Media Radio Network.
Sing aloud because we want to make a crowd.
As Wisconsin is cheering on Bucky Badger. This is the Civic Media Radio Network. Remembering Vietnam, brought to you by The Dispensary.
One day we started heading back to Dock Tow with some wounded guys in the truck, and the company commander said to stop the convoy. He said, "Where are the bodies?" We had 2 guys killed, and they had been left lying back there. That can't happen. So the captain said, "We need some guys to go back and get them." I'm thinking, I hope it's not me. And sure enough, he says, "Brzezinski, come with me. We're going back to pick up the bodies." And I'm like, "Captain, what do you mean? Can't we take the truck?" He said, "No, because they would just blow it up and we can't afford to lose that truck." I took my helmet and flak jacket off. I could never run in those things, although I knew one well-placed bullet could kill me, and we started running back to the bodies. Mike Brzezinski, United States Army, Vietnam.
Hear this full story at WGBW.FM. Click on Remembering Vietnam. Brought to you by The Dispensary. Online at thed8dispensary.com.
Back to school is on the brain. That means new notebooks, pencils, new everything. And while the kids are getting ready to get book smart, it's time for you to save smart with Straight Talk Wireless. Switch now and get a free Moto G 2025 with 5G when you activate select plans. Now that's a smart call. Get Straight Talk covered by Verizon's 5G network. Available at straighttalk.com and Walmart. Offer valid through 10/19/25. Taxes and fees apply. Purchase of gold unlimited plan or higher required for offer. Must activate the plan in-store at Walmart. Cannot be combined with other offers.
With new treatments emerging in the fight against Alzheimer's, now is the time for hope. Keep the momentum going and join us in Green Bay on September 27th for the Walk to End Alzheimer's, the world's largest fundraiser to fight the disease. Join us by registering at alz.org/walk.
My part-time service in the Army National Guard makes it possible for me to be more for the community I call home. My training helps me at work when I lead by example. My service in the Army National Guard allows me to keep my community and those I care about safe from threats. Learn more about how you too can live and serve part-time close to home by visiting nationalguard.com.
Sponsored by the Wisconsin Army National Guard, aired by the Wisconsin Broadcasters Association and this station.
The possibility of lung cancer can be pretty scary, especially if you're one of approximately 8 million current or former smokers at high risk. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know that now there's a breakthrough low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early, and it only takes 60 seconds. You stop smoking, now start screening. For an easy quiz to see if you're eligible, visit SaveByTheScan.org. It could save your life. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
I was stuck in a state of panic and endless rituals, so I made the call.
Mental health care works when you make the call. Visit mentalhealthcareworks.org. A message from the American Psychiatric Association Foundation.
Schwaba, helping you get through the end of your day and leave the stresses behind as we talk about the things we love, folks. Movies, TV, comedy, music, theater, you name it. How cool was that Todd Albaugh interview with Joe Thomas?
I mean, that one of the cool stories in NFL. I mean,
yeah,
how much weight he lost just since he retired is crazy.
A little scary. Some of those guys,
well, it tells you how much they have to keep on weight during that time.
Yeah, exactly. So our question of the night, folks, is it okay when people use AI to enhance their dating profile photos or social media photos? We'll read your text in just a few minutes. Mike Siegel is coming up at 7:20. Mike is the host of the Travel Tales podcast, hosted shows like If Walls Could Talk, What You Get for the Money, and TBS's Movie Break, and he's a very funny comedian. He is not in our current guests contest, though. Ben Giles is here from Laughable Productions in Oshkosh and bringing Oshkosh more comedy, which I think is fantastic. So, Ben, let's talk about you've got all these comics. How much time do these guys do? Do they all do 10 and girls too?
Yeah, they do. So they get 8 minutes for each set. So essentially, like we've been stacking the lineups with 12 people into roughly a 2-hour show. So they should be prepared to have 10 minutes though, because at the finale they will be given a little more time. But yeah, they get 8 minutes. We flash them a light at 7, so they have their 1 minute warning, and then we cut the mic at 8.
Let's be honest, too. If you're not getting any laughs, 8 minutes can go by a little quickly. You might want to have a couple extra minutes just in case. So here are the comics' names for this next round. I assume your website is up to date. Bob Coakley, Brady Grigorich, Brandon Sanders, Chris Butler, Chris Riley, Dean Berg, Hector Aviles, Nate Lee, Owen Barr, Phoenix Lampkin, and Scott Holt. Is there a favorite in there, or can it go either way?
There is it's going to be close. There's a couple in there that I think are really good. There's a couple in there that I have not seen besides their 3-minute promo. I also
Okay.
need to give a shout out to Hayden Fredrickson. Whatever website you're reading off of does not have his name. He is also
Oh, okay.
competing that night, a Green Bay local. But no, I need to stay non-biased, Pete. You know, I can't tell you who the favorite is. But I do think there's a couple that I have high hopes for, and then I just hope no one bombs, you know, because regardless of who wins for the night, we're just trying to put on a fun night. People can come and laugh. So
this is great too. It says $100 cash prize for the winner. So one of these comedians I just mentioned will be the 4th comic in the grand finale in September. Correct? So you'll have 4 comics, and then the headliner.
yes, and the $100 cash prize has actually increased. We've increased. So you win $100 if you win the preliminary round, and then if you win the whole thing, you're going to win $1,000. So we have upped the ante. You know, we really beefed it up by bringing Josh Blue in, and then also a really cool thing as well. If any of those comedians are people that you know, you can buy a ticket with their code, and each comedian gets paid a commission for every ticket they sell. So if they bring 40 people to the show, not only do they have an advantage in the audience voting portion of the judging, but they also get a little commission from ticket sales as well for people that they bring to the show.
Are you worried that people are going to like stack the audience or try to, Ben, or do you not care because it just means you have more people in the audience?
Yeah, that's a really good question, Pete. At first, we were a little worried about that. The first 3 rounds, that has not been a factor at all.
Okay.
We structure it so that it's 55% judge panel, 45% audience vote, so that if someone does stack the audience, they're not going to automatically win.
Oh, good.
You know, there's still that judges panel that has a majority of control just by a little bit. But I will say, in the past couple rounds, the people that have brought the most folks in for the show have not been the winners. So that's another interesting facet. I think, if you're a diehard fan and you're there for them, you're going to vote for them no matter what. But I think there are some people who have a following who attract people to the show. But then, it's undeniable who I think the last 2 shows have been pretty straightforward on who should win. And I think most of the audience has shown that they are also voting that way. So
that's fantastic. My guest is Ben Giles. He is the founder of Laughable Productions and the creator, or at least one of them, of the Funniest Comedian in Oshkosh competition, which takes place, this new round 4, takes place August 15th at the Oshkosh Arena at 7 p.m. Where can people get tickets, Ben?
You can get tickets at OshkoshArena.com through Ticketmaster, or you can buy them at the door. Save a little money on those Ticketmaster fees if you buy them at the door. Or anytime the Oshkosh Arena box office is open. They have normal open hours, Monday through Friday. Pop on in there, grab your tickets, and have a great time.
It's the Oshkosh Arena, one of the few arenas that still has the name of the city. You couldn't find a sponsor for that arena, like a Leon's Custard Oshkosh Arena or something.
Yeah, you'll have to take that one up with the Oshkosh Arena.
Oshkosh Bagosh Overalls Arena, something. Come on, Oshkosh has got a lot of cool stuff.
A couple of years from now, maybe Laughable Productions being so well, we'll sponsor the arena.
Oh, man, that would be fantastic. Hey, we have to do the news, Ben. Can I keep you for a few more minutes? I would love to just get into some comedy talk with you and find out what comedians you like and that kind of stuff.
Absolutely.
All right, we'll do that. Mike Siegel is here at 7:20. We have a couple social media texts here we'll get to before the break. Our question tonight, folks, is it okay for people to use AI to spruce up their dating site profile photos or social media photos? Daniel Wheeler says, I asked my AI girlfriend about your profile pic question. She said I was handsome and then asked if I wanted to switch to a yearly subscription. No, Daniel. He says, so things are getting pretty serious. And then our pal Dan Davies says, my AI date kept asking me in an Austrian accent if I was Sarah Connor. I had to terminate that date post-haste. We'll get to the rest of your text throughout the course of the show, folks. But be part of the fun here at Night Light. We're coming back for Act 2 after intermission here with the very funny, very talented, very busy Ben Giles. It's Pete Schwaba and Night Light on the Civic Media Radio Network.
Denmark. Green Bay's real news and great conversation. A Civic Media radio station.
ABC News, I'm Dave Packer. We're hearing from New York Mayor Eric Adams after Monday's deadly shooting at a Midtown Manhattan office building that left 4 people dead. 27-year-old Shane Tamura driving from Las Vegas and opening fire with an M4-style assault rifle.
When you have people coming from outside the state with lax gun laws and bringing them into the city, that makes our job increasingly harder.
It's believed that Tamura was targeting the NFL offices, but took the wrong elevator. Sources say in a note found on his person, Tamura accusing the NFL of concealing the dangers of CTE to football players' brains. Jeffrey Epstein's convicted accomplice, Ghislaine Maxwell's attorneys, have told a House committee that wants her to appear that she'd plead the fifth unless she's given immunity. The committee saying immunity is off the table. EPA Administrator Lee Zeldin announcing plans to repeal a 2009 finding that identified climate change as a danger for public health and future generations. This is ABC News.
As Wisconsin is saying the word bag instead of bag. This is the Civic Media Radio Network.
For 97.9 WGBW News, I'm Lisa Hale. Late last week, the Trump administration released more than $5 billion in grant funding for public schools, providing much-needed budgetary relief for school districts in Northeast Wisconsin that were relying on the funds to cover student support programs. The Green Bay Area Public School District will see $3.4 million. Green Bay Superintendent Vicki Bayer said without those funds, budget cuts would have negatively impacted students and working families. Meanwhile, the Oshkosh Area School District will receive over $500,000 in funds released by the Trump administration. Wisconsin's lieutenant governor is wasting no time in campaigning for the state's top spot after Tony Evers announces he won't seek a third term as governor. Terry Barr has the details.
Sarah Rodriguez is already on the road as the first official Democratic candidate for Wisconsin governor.
What I am hearing is that people feel squeezed. They are doing everything right. They are working. They are trying to do what's right, and they cannot make ends meet. And whether that is accessible and affordable health care, whether that's housing, whether that's child care.
The lieutenant governor considers these the top concerns for the next governor, and there are also questions if she knew about Evers' decision ahead of his announcement.
We need a governor who's going to be ready to go, who's going to be prepared, who's going to have their ducks in a row. And so I was prepared for either decision that he was going to make. I was prepared to run for governor. I was prepared to run for lieutenant governor and support him.
Washington County Executive Josh Schuman and Whitefish Bay businessman Bill Berrien declared their candidacies as Republicans the election in 2026.
I'm Lisa Hale, 97.9 WGBW News. For news anytime, log on to WGBW.FM.
It's the Brewers and the Cubs. Hi, I'm Mike Clemens with sports. Baseball tonight as the Crew hosts the Cubs in Game 2 of their series. Milwaukee with a win last night, 8-4. But a rough start for Jacob Mizorowski. The Miz giving up 3 runs and throwing 40 pitches in the top of the first. Was it as rough as it looked?
I mean, yeah, it's a long inning, so everything, sucks. You start feeling a little loose, and every pitch keeps getting away just that little bit. Definitely the settling down and getting the 10 outs. Thought I did my job in getting us in a position that we can succeed.
Brewers manager Pat Murphy.
First inning, we're down 3-0. He feels horrible. His adrenaline. I learned a lot about him, and it just goes to show you the kid can pitch, not just throw.
NFL, Packers training camp continues with practice in pads. Running back Marshawn Lloyd injured in the first set of downs after being clobbered by former Raiders defensive back Nate Hobbs. Lloyd ended up sitting out the rest of practice. With sports, I'm Mike Clemens.
As Wisconsin is cheering on the Brew Crew. This is the Civic Media Radio Network.
I'm meteorologist Mace Michaels. Mostly cloudy tonight, slight storm chance, and a low in the mid-60s. For tomorrow, a mixture of sunshine and clouds, still a chance of storms, and highs in the mid-70s. Sun's back for Thursday, highs again mid-70s. Currently, it's 87.
Jane Matnair and Greg Bach.
Coming up on the show, Dr. Kristen Lyerly will join us to talk about funding or not of Planned Parenthood. Hour number 2, we recombobulate with Dan Schaefer. Join us.
Matnair on air, weekday mornings 9 to 11. The Maggie Dawn Show.
We've got Chris from Nina. What's your thought this afternoon, Chris?
Oftentimes you have only one set of viewers that will watch Fox News or watch CNN. What I really actually love and respect from all your viewers is the fact that you tend to have viewers that think on both sides of the aisle. To be open-minded, you need to be willing to listen and learn and possibly change your mind. You don't have to change your mind, but just being willing to listen.
The award-winning Maggie Dawn Show. Weekday afternoons from 4 until 6. Mornings with Pat Kreitlow.
One of the most basic things that a free people could want, not going bankrupt because of healthcare. If it sounds like I'm banging my head against the microphone, it's that we are having this discussion about having to hold benefits for people because they didn't have proper health insurance coverage, because they're threatened with bankruptcy, which again happens in no other developed country in the world.
Mornings with Pat. Broadcasting live from the Civic Media Studios in Green Bay, this is Nite Lite with Pete Schwaba, your inside source on everything entertainment from Wisconsin to Hollywood. And now, a guy still not convinced computers are here to stay, Pete Schwaba.
Welcome back to Nite Lite, folks, for Act 2 of this Tuesday night broadcast here from downtown, beautiful downtown Green Bay on a gorgeous night. I hope it is gorgeous wherever you are joining us from in Wisconsin or beyond, if you're listening on the stream or the app. Great to have you with me. If you missed hour 1, we have a fun question tonight, and it's where do you, the AI is everywhere. And I use it myself. When I'm writing stuff and I need to do research, I check with ChatGPT or AI through Google. But the question tonight is it okay for people to use AI to enhance their social media photos on like dating sites or just on social media? I don't really have a problem with that. I know people that do that, and they kind of make it obvious, so that's not as big a deal. They're just having fun. But some people want you to think they look like that. But especially on dating sites, it seems a little weird, I think. And you're going to have some explaining to do, probably, when you meet someone who swiped left or swiped right. You didn't really answer the question, Conrad, when I asked you if you're on any dating sites.
I think that's classified information.
That's a yes. Would you do that? If you, let's say hypothetically, yeah.
No, because I think that would be just awkward conversation or something. You know, it would be awkward, I think, if you're looking not like the picture you present.
If anything, put a worse picture on there. Then when you meet someone and they start looking at you, they're like, get down on it. You know, they go crazy. I think that's a safer bet. We talked about Happy Gilmore 2 in the first hour. Conrad liked it, didn't love it, even though he's a huge Adam Sandler fan and a fan of the first Happy Gilmore. He also liked Fantastic Four. So we talked about that. It's Vacation, folks. Vacation dropped today in 1983. If you have a favorite line, a favorite character, please share it with us. We'll talk a little bit about that at 7:20 with our next guest, Mike Siegel. Right now, without further ado, let's get back to our current guest. He is joining us over the stream all the way from beautiful Oshkosh, Wisconsin. He is the founder of Laughable Productions and the funniest comedian in Oshkosh competition, which is in the mix and winding down. Round 4 is August 15th at the Oshkosh Arena. You can get tickets at the Oshkosh Arena website or show up and pay cash if you're there before 7 p.m. on August 15th. It sounds like a great time. Ben, before we just talk to you about comedy a little bit, any closing thoughts on the contest?
Yeah, I do have some closing thoughts on the contest. I also have some thoughts on your AI social media photos.
Oh, please.
I think you're getting on the verge of like catfishing there a bit. You know, if you've ever seen the show Catfish, where, you know, they confront people because they're pretending to be someone that they're not. I mean, you can manipulate your photos enough to kind of catfish someone. Not cool, man. Not cool.
Okay. That's finally, we got a really adamant, and I haven't read through all the text here. I imagine most people agree with you, but like, that's, I agree with you. And when is it okay to say, like, are there sites out there where you can just be whoever you want? And I guess if you're not meeting in person, that's okay, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there definitely probably are sites out there that you can be someone you aren't. But for a dating site, you should want to present yourself as authentically as
Yeah.
possible. And I think there's a difference between using a filter on a picture and like editing your butt to look better or your cheeks to look or taking the bags out of your eyes. Those are just
Right.
things that are probably not going to be looked on well when you meet that person in person. If you get that chance.
I'm not trying to throw you under the bus here or anything, Ben, but I did see a profile and someone had the name Gen Biles, and it looked an awful lot like you. Older picture, maybe. I don't know. Good luck with that, though, Ben.
Wait, really? That's so funny. Oh, I was
I'm
going to say,
married,
it wouldn't
I'm married,
surprise
so I'm
me.
not on very many dating sites.
Yeah, I don't have I'm also not on any dating sites. I'm also happily married. As you can see behind me, I like to flex and show off my beautiful wife.
That's a great photo. Yeah.
Yeah,
Is
but
she
no,
on
I
any
did.
dating sites?
I
I'm
hope
just
not.
kidding. It's a terrible joke. I don't know Ben that well that I can make jokes
She
like
says
that.
no, she's not on any
Okay.
dating sites.
All right. I don't mean to
But yeah,
pry.
that I have had a public I was a public figure once upon a time in elected office, and there were some trolls that used to come after me. So it wouldn't surprise me if there was a Jen Biles out there that was impersonating me. That's right, spot on.
Well, I hope not. And if there is
Same.
someone, I hope it enhances your comedy competition. So give us a closing thought on the competition, and then I got a couple more questions for you. Then we'll let you get on with your evening.
Absolutely. We would love to see you round 4 on August 15th at the Oshkosh Arena for Oshkosh's Funniest Comedian. And then please, please, please mark your calendar for the finale Saturday, September 13th at the arena with Josh Blue. It is going to be such a fun night, and we want to sell that place out. There's going to be a lot of people, a lot of fun, a lot of jokes told. You might see some of the best comedians in the area, and you get to see Josh Blue. So please come support. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, our website, laughfulproductions.com. Otherwise, we'll see you at the Oshkosh Arena. Those are my last thoughts, Pete.
All right, I have one more question, and I can't believe I didn't ask this sooner, especially because I know we have a lot of Wisconsinites listening. Are there beverages? Can people buy a libation or get some food?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yes, there is both beer, seltzers, wine, spirits, cocktails. And then they also open the 1212 Bar and Grill, which is attached to the Oshkosh Arena, for a fish fry before the show as well.
Oh,
so if you want to come a little early, have an old fashioned, have some fish, and then come see some comedy, we love that because the more people drink, the funnier we get. So throw down some beers, old fashions, and come hang out.
You got all the bases covered. That's great. Ben Giles is my guest. Check out the Oshkosh Funniest Comedian Contest. The next round takes place August 15th, at 7 p.m. at the Oshkosh Arena. Tickets available at the Oshkosh Arena website, or you can pay cash in person. But it sounds like it's going to be a great time. And then also keep in mind the date, September 13th, for the absolute finale of this really cool contest. So who are your favorite comics, Ben?
Growing up, I loved Chris Farley, Wisconsin native. I thought his SNL sketches are so funny, not only funny, but timeless. You can still watch those on YouTube today and get a great laugh. I also loved Robin Williams, not only as a comedian, but a voice actor and an actor in all of his movies. But recently I've been on a Shane Gillis kick with the Tires TV show. I don't know if you've seen that. I think he's hilarious. He actually reminds me of one of my friends who I think is hilarious. And his style of humor, very dry and a lot of animated faces. My wife would cringe if I said Theo Von, but I'm gonna say Theo Von. I love listening to him interview people, and he's had some crazy guests on. I mean, he got to interview the president. Like, you imagine a stand-up comedian in the 90s interviewing the president? Like, that's just wild that's where we're at now. But I really like watching Theo, even though he is a little out of pocket at times. And then I don't know. I'm trying to think of others. Jeffrey Asmus, he went to school with me at UW-Madison, and we used to hang out at parties together, before he made it big. He's touring all over the country now. I love watching his content on Facebook and Instagram, and I wish him the best, and I hope he remembers our beer chugging days. But yeah, those are probably some of my favorites that I've drawn inspiration from, for sure.
And those of you listening, if you have not seen Shane Gillis, I don't know all of his stuff, but his joke about the Special Olympics is one of the funniest things I've ever heard. So it's worth a Google. And then, Ben, before we let you get out of here, have you seen are you binge watching anything you could share? Have you seen any of the summer movies?
I am kicking myself because I still have not seen Superman. My wife just got me hooked on Schitt's Creek. I have been watching Schitt's Creek. We are almost through season 1. And we have been binging that. We've been watching it for I think 3 days, and we're through season 1 already. So those are the 2 biggest ones. But I am so excited to go see Superman. It's just hard when you have a child, a little baby at home. You know, you got to get a babysitter and all of those things. But I'd love to see the Man of Steel on the big screen for sure.
I saw it. It was pretty good. You'll have to come back on after you see it, and we'll have a discussion. And let's get you back on before the final round. It sounds great, and thank you for doing this for the community and bringing more laughs to the comedy world, especially in Oshkosh. Great stuff, Ben.
Thank you, Pete.
All right, we'll talk soon. That's Ben Giles. Check out the funniest comedian in Oshkosh competition happening right now. The next round is August 15th, as I mentioned. Really good stuff. If you want to get in on our question of the night, folks, is it okay? Again, let's just be honest. There are truly maybe 7 really attractive people in the entire world. The rest of us we just take up space, and we all want to look better. We work out, we eat right. Everything we do basically is to look better. So tonight's question is it okay for people to use AI to enhance their dating site photos or social media? And we've got here's from the social media. This is our buddy Mike Mercury. Very funny. Comedian from Madison says, here's what Google's AI says about it. Using AI to enhance social media or dating app photos is a complex issue with both potential benefits and drawbacks. While it can be a way to boost confidence and improve first impressions, it also carries the risk of misrepresentation and privacy concerns. Triple hashtag con. Mike says, I agree with their assessment, and as such, am going to stop thinking altogether and will just rely on AI to tell me what's up. I don't think you could go wrong with that, Mike. And if you're lacking a few jokes, if you need some new material, use AI for that too. Who's going to know? Thank you, buddy. Ross from Crawford County, he's in the 608, says, should a person use AI to enhance their social media presence? It's a hard question for a guy my age. I don't know if it would ultimately make any difference. I think people are still able to discern the reality from the unreality that AI can lead us to. If a person falls for AI enhancement, then that's the person that obviously you want if you're going to use AI to enhance your social media. So be careful what you ask for. Boy, that's interesting. If you make yourself look better, you're going to attract the kind of person who's going to fall for that. Sounds like a great life to me. Well done, Ross. John Murray in the 608, he's in Madison, says, we all know that adding AI to convey your deets will change the game. I want the derelict on the other end to shine through with all their true color. Of course, everyone embellishes a bit, and that is enough BS to deal with. Sounds like John's kind of in the middle there. Like
yeah.
He's just kind of all around annoyed by the question. Thank you, John. Tom from New Berlin says, vacation, when Chevy Chase and John Candy interact and Candy telling Griswold the park is closed. Great scene. Totally agree with you, Tom. Tom's in the 414. John Candy has such a small part, but it's so great. Bridget in the 818 says, sure, why not? AI is here to stay. And Bridget, I assume is a woman, is telling us it's okay to enhance our dating site profiles. So there you go, Con.
Well, looks like I'm going on ChatGPT tonight.
Open up your profile and get to it, man. You're not getting any younger. Get yourself out there.
I'm gonna ask the ChatGPT to put biceps on my biceps.
Oh wow! You don't want to intimidate anybody. You're gonna look like Chris Casper then. All right, so Mike Siegel is coming up, folks. Be part of the show. Text us. Let us know what your answer is to our question of the night. And what else did we cover? I felt like we Digger's Hotline. Yeah, we did Digger's Hotline. It's not a hotline for guys who just like to dig.
Yep.
Okay. I'm one of those guys. I got to be honest. All right, Mike Siegel's coming up next, folks. It's Pete Schwaba and Nite Lite on the Civic Media Radio Network.
A teardrop star, and it breaks my heart. When teardrop fall. I wanna cry, cry, cry alone. When you're feeling blue, I'm waiting just for you.
From Denmark to De Pere, this is 97.9 WGBW.
Hi, I'm Kristen Ambos, Wisconsin's #1 female loan officer for residential mortgages. Every loan is unique, and I'm committed to your financial well-being. Let's chat today at 920-606-1156 and check out my podcast, Always on Point.
Keeping you informed, entertained, and connected to your local community. Here's Terry Barr with the Civic Media Radio Network.
It's Ice Cream Month, and did you know you can celebrate at this area stop along the state's ice cream trail? Here's the scoop.
Now, in Wisconsin, we've got 49 different licensed ice cream plants that are making it. But this map focuses in on unique stops in Wisconsin. Every one of them's got a story.
That's Pam Yonke, known as the Fabulous Farm Babe. She says the current trail includes 20 locations, each one from Hayward to La Crosse, Madison, and then north to Appleton, Green Bay, and Door County dishes out delicious, locally made ice cream.
I've been to one or two, but I'm surprised by how few I've gotten a chance to visit, and I'm a pretty big ice cream fan.
Find the trail at the website gatherwisconsin.com and add your own local favorite there, too. Until next time, I'm Terry Barr.
For 75 years, the Muscular Dystrophy Association's voices have thundered through the halls of Congress.
For 75 years, we've willed the impossible into existence.
For 75 years, the MDA community has pushed the science,
shifted the narrative, and established the field of neuromuscular medicine.
And until that day, when this is all a thing of the past,
you couldn't stop us if you tried.
Join us and celebrate 75 years of breakthroughs at mda75.org.
Where working people come to talk. It's The Rick Smith Show, weeknights at 9 on the Civic Media Radio Network. Join me for an honest approach to the issues American working families care about. No talking points, no focus groups. Get ready for a heavy dose of democracy, fairness, grit, and no apologies. It's current affairs from a working class labor perspective. Facts are center, science is real, and everyone gets a seat at the table. The Rick Smith Show, weeknights at 9 on the Civic Media Radio Network.
Welcome back. I'm Pete Schwaba. This is Nite Lite. I guess I shouldn't have made an assumption that Bridget is a woman. Because remember, I did that with Chris, but I've not ever met a guy named Bridget. But Chris with a K, I went woman. I was corrected twice. Now I'll never get it wrong again. So Bridget, if you are a man, a big burly man like Chris Casper.
Fist fight's coming.
Every time I mention Casper's name, he's probably like, oh, man. Next time he's in Madison, I'm going to kneecap him. All right. So this is exciting, folks. It is a 7:20. As promised, my next guest, a very funny guy, a comedian and host. In the past, he's hosted such shows as If Walls Could Talk, What You Get for the Money, TBS's Movie Break. He's also the host of his own podcast, a very interesting, insightful, and funny podcast, Travel Tales. He joins us now over the stream, Mike Siegel. Hey, buddy.
Hey, Pete. How are you doing?
I'm doing very well. Where are you right now?
I am in the beautiful capital of our 49th state, Alaska, Juneau.
No, I don't. That's why I'm asking.
If you were, if you hear a strange clanging noise, it's because it is an old school radiator in this hotel that I think was built in the Roosevelt administration, and by that I mean Teddy Roosevelt. And
so
you know,
are you on a ship? You're not on a ship then?
No. I'm in my hotel. I just got off one, and I'm spending the night here. And tomorrow I got to fly to San Francisco to get on another ship, and then I'm coming back up here. And then I'm doing about 5 different ships in 3 weeks, and it's a lot. But hey, bills got to be paid, Pete. You know how it goes.
They do know how it goes. So you've done a lot of these ships, Mike, and I know you kind of have a love-hate relationship with them. Like as you said, they pay the bills. You like to travel. I don't know if you go anywhere exotic on the ships or not. It sounds like sometimes you do, but what are the best things about working cruise ships and the worst things?
Well, like you said, I have gotten to go to some amazing places that I wouldn't have made it to before, or it would have been very expensive, like Antarctica. I've been there, and that one was a really high end cruise. So it was less than, and it's a tip for anybody who does an Antarctica cruise. If your ship is over 450 passengers, you can't get off it. So you can watch it from and it is incredible, but you can't get off. So I was in a smaller, really kind of high end luxury one, and we got to take little Zodiac boats to the beachhead, and we still got to walk around with penguins walking all around us, and that was pretty incredible.
Wow!
So that's one, too. And I just got back earlier this year. I was in South America, and and they let me off. I saw the date. I went, wait a minute, because it was dropping me off in Rio de Janeiro. And I said, I think that's around like Mardi Gras time. And it was like 2 days before Fat Tuesday. So I said, you know what? And this is the thing. If I just say, hey, look, can I fly back, 4 days later, as long as it's from the same airport, they don't really care. They have to cover my travel. So,
oh, wow.
Yeah. So I just got a hotel. I think I got the last hotel room available in Copacabana Beach, and because I always wanted to see it. So little things like that. I try to maximize the travel.
I thought you were going to say you went on a ship to South America and kept going south, and then you went to the South Pole. And then I thought it'd be cool if you branded yourself. This is like the Poles comedian. He's got all these great jokes about the North and South Pole. So.
Well, at Antarctica, you got to get the ship in. It's either you get it in Chile or Ushuaia, Argentina, which is like the bottom of South America. And you're only like visiting a little, that arm that's closest to it. And Antarctica is huge. So you're only seeing a little piece of it, but yeah, it's pretty great. And then you got to cross the Drake Passage, which is crazy. That was like, they say you either get the Drake Lake or the Drake Shake. And the lake is like, a smooth ride because it's about, 4 days at sea or something like that.
Okay.
And, but I got the lake going down and the shake coming back up. And it was like 4 or 5 days of just huge waves, like crashing over the window and stuff like that.
When you're up there, when you're in the North Pole, and you said you were looking at penguins.
Well, wasn't it that was the South Pete.
Pole,
Antarctica. Come on.
Oh, Antarctica.
Get a globe, Pete.
I thought
you
meant the main Antarctica, not that subpar, ridiculous South.
Not the anti-Arctica.
How cold was it? Like, seriously, how cold were you? You're on a boat.
Yeah, I mean, sure. I mean, it's windy on deck. I mean, it's crazy windy anytime you're at sea.
Yeah.
But there, you have to go in their summer, which is our winter. So I think I was there in like January, February. And honestly, then we had a couple of days that when we went ashore one day, there's like a Chilean naval base down there that we went to. And it was sunny and like in the probably 50s.
Whoa.
Yeah, and but it does get cold. Wisconsin cold, not crazy. We're not going to the actual pole. I mean, to go to the actual South Pole is super hard and super expensive, and you got to fly in. I mean, that's the only way to do it.
Well, yeah, with that attitude. So how was Mardi Gras, Mike?
Yeah, the carnival was pretty crazy, and it's one of those things where I've been to Mardi Gras in New Orleans, and that was in my 20s. And I've been to things like Oktoberfest in Munich and stuff like that. But, it's one of those events that I went there. And now I'm a man of a certain age, Pete, as you are. I think you and I are the same age. It was one of those things where it was like, this would have been a lot more fun in my 20s. And not when I'm getting tired. And, and maybe with a group of friends. Because I'm this older, middle-aged guy by myself watching people. Dancing half naked in the street. And it's like, okay, I can do that to a point. Nobody wants to see
a guy over 40 do that or hunched over puking. A 20-year-old, you excuse, you're like, oh, that guy's having a great time. But a guy our age is just like, oh, look at that pathetic soul.
I always say, I like to blend in wherever I go. And then I realized in 5 seconds on the sidewalk there, I wasn't going to blend in because I was wearing clothes and them not so much. Them not so much. 3 pieces of string is considered an outfit.
Oh, I know.
Mardi Gras.
It's awesome. This is Pete Schwaba at Nightlight. Mike Siegel is here. We're going to do the news and come back and talk about the movie Vacation. And I think Mike's probably had a hell gig. Maybe he can share with us from one of these cruises. It's Pete Schwaba at Nightlight on the Civic Media Radio Network.
This is the talk of Green Bay, WGBW. As Wisconsin is hitting the road on your Harley. This is the Civic Media Radio Network.
ABC News, I'm Dave Packer. We're hearing from New York Mayor Eric Adams after Monday's deadly shooting at a Midtown Manhattan office building that left 4 people dead. 27-year-old Shane Tamura driving from Las Vegas and opening fire with an M4-style assault rifle.
When you have people coming from outside the state with lax gun laws and bringing them into the city, that makes our job increasingly harder.
It's believed that Tamura was targeting the NFL offices, but took the wrong elevator. Sources say in a note found on his person, Tamura accusing the NFL of concealing the dangers of CTE to football players' brains. Jeffrey Epstein's convicted accomplice, Ghislaine Maxwell's attorneys, have told a House committee that wants her to appear that she'd plead the fifth unless she's given immunity. The committee saying immunity is off the table. EPA Administrator Lee Zeldin announcing plans to repeal a 2009 finding that identified climate change as a danger for public health and future generations. This is ABC News.
It's the Brewers and the Cubs. Hi, I'm Mike Clemens with sports. Baseball tonight as the Crew hosts the Cubs in Game 2 of their series. Milwaukee with a win last night, 8-4. But a rough start for Jacob Mizorowski. The Miz giving up 3 runs and throwing 40 pitches in the top of the first. Was it as rough as it looked?
I mean, yeah, it's a long inning, so everything, sucks. I feel like you start feeling a little loose, and every pitch keeps in the way just that little bit. Definitely the settling down and getting the 10 outs. Thought I did my job in getting us in a position that we can succeed.
Brewers manager Pat Murphy.
First inning, we're down 3-0. He feels horrible. His adrenaline. I learned a lot about him, and it just goes to show you the kid can pitch, not just throw.
NFL, Packers training camp continues with practice in pads. Running back Marshawn Lloyd injured in the first set of downs after being clobbered by former Raiders defensive back Nate Hobbs. Lloyd ended up sitting out the rest of practice. With sports, I'm Mike Clemens.
On your entertainment beat, I'm Pete Schwaba. As far as episodic TV goes, nothing gets me more excited than a well-done cop show. There have been 2 spin-offs so far from the Amazon Prime cop show Bosch, a show about a stubborn, uncompromising police detective played by Titus Welliver. In a new cop show, Welliver heads up the cast in Westies. According to Collider, Welliver plays Glenn Keenan, a Vietnam vet and gritty beat cop. The story is set in the early 80s in Hell's Kitchen in New York and follows the Westies, a real-life Irish street gang, as they try to carve out a piece of the action despite being a much smaller force than the Mafia's 5 families of New York. Welliver calls his character deeply corrupt and very dark, but also nuanced. Joining him in the cast are J.K. Simmons, Tom Brittney, Jessica Francis Duke, and just added additions Sarah Bolger and Stanley Morgan. The Westies will drop on MGM Plus sometime in 2026. For more showbiz fun, tune in to Nightlight with me, Pete Schwaba, weeknights from 6 to 8 p.m. on the Civic Media Radio Network.
As Wisconsin is cheering on Bucky Badger. This is the Civic Media Radio Network.
I'm meteorologist Mace Michaels. Mostly cloudy tonight, slight storm chance, and a low in the mid-60s. For tomorrow, a mixture of sunshine and clouds, still a chance of storms, and highs in the mid-70s. Sun's back for Thursday, highs again mid-70s. Currently, it's 87.
The Todd Albaugh Show.
NFL Hall of Famer, College Football Hall of Famer, Mr. Joe Thomas. You were telling us a little bit about being drafted number 3. You skipped the draft.
I went fishing that day, and I never did it for anything other than I just much rather spend the day fishing with my dad, and I'm hoping that that's a story that keeps being told and gives people a reason. Like, you know what, instead of working today, I'm going to go fishing with my kid. I'm going to make the time because it's impactful. It's memories that they're going to remember for the rest of their life.
The Todd Albaugh Show, weekdays 2 to 4 on your local Civic Media radio station and on the app.
Not completing high school is more of a social thing than it was an academic thing. Even though all these years have passed, I still had that longing to have my diploma.
At age 30, Carissa finished her high school diploma.
If you're even considering getting your high school diploma, you can do it.
No one gets a diploma alone. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help. Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
Todd Albaugh.
Hey, everybody, join us next time. We'll be talking about the gubernatorial
I am Pete Schwaba. Great to have you with me this Tuesday night back here on the home court after a wonderful week in Madison back at WGBW, making sure Conrad does not get into trouble. Tomorrow night on the show, who do we have, Conrad? I lost my list here for some reason.
Well, we have Matt Miller talk about
yeah,
some of those blockbusters that are going on right now.
Milwaukee film critic Matt Miller. We've got Kim Mothy from Appleton talking about Mile of Music.
Yep.
And then who else do we have? I can't find my list here for some reason. We've got the
curator of Mustard Museum.
Oh, I love this. The Mustard Museum in Madison, curator Barry Levinson, no relation to the other Barry Levinson, who's a famous film director. But Barry is great, and he loves mustard. He's coming on to celebrate National Mustard Day. When I was in Madison last week, I had breakfast with my son and my niece at this place, and I saw this really cool building, the National Mustard. I don't know if it's the National Mustard Museum or a more regional mustard museum, but they know they're mustard folks. That's all you need to know. So that's tomorrow night on Night Light. Hopefully you'll join me tomorrow as well. Right now, let's get back to our guest, Mike Siegel, the very talented comedian and host of the Travel Tales podcast and numerous cable shows. He's had a stellar career.
Stellar.
Now he's in a hotel room. Where are you again, Mike?
Juneau, Alaska.
Yes.
I'm in Juneau. And it's so funny when you were talking about Vacation, the movie, the Mustard Museum is something Clark Griswold would go out of his way to visit,
Yes.
along with the second largest ball of twine, which is only 3 short hours away, or 6 short hours, or whatever it is.
I love when the bartender in the place where they go in Dodge City ignores him. And then Chevy Chase finally says, "Hey, underpants." And the guy turns and blows him away.
I'm okay.
So great.
Great. The kid's deaf. Our son is deaf now.
And then he always says, "Oh, what's the difference? It was fun anyway." Let's talk about Vacation, Mike. Today is the 42nd year, right? Anniversary? It dropped in
1983.
Yeah. So where do you rank that, Mike, with some of the better comedies in the 80s, like the John Hughes comedies, or Fletch, or Caddyshack, Ferris Bueller?
Well, it's another thing that I remember watching the National Lampoon documentary and realized that a handful of these writers pretty much shaped my comedy outlook on everything.
Wow.
I mean, everything that they did, from Animal House into, John Hughes came out of there. Who he wrote Vacation, which was based on a National Lampoon article
that he wrote.
Yeah. And so that's up there for sure, and it hit me hard too, because I was, I think, in high school when that came out, but my family did that trip, from Chicago to California to go to Disneyland. And we stopped at everything. I think we stopped at the Petrified Forest. We did the London Bridge in Arizona. I don't know if you ever saw that.
No.
I think it's in Lake Havasu City.
Okay.
And look that up. Yeah. That's a replica of the London Bridge, or it's an actual piece of the London Bridge. I don't know how it worked, but some guy brought it out to Lake Havasu in the 70s, and it's still there. You could go see it. But the Petrified Forest and all that, I remember, it was the old Route 66 thing through St. Louis and, Oklahoma City and Amarillo and all that. So, yeah, I remember doing it. And that was my first trip to the West Coast ever. And that was, it was pretty mind blowing to see what I was watching on TV. To those of us from the Midwest, Pete, like a desert is completely foreign. Mountains were a really big deal.
Yeah.
And so to see those mountains and wow, I couldn't believe it. This looks like Charlie's Angels.
It also, in a weird way, gave me an appreciation for the Midwest, because especially when you fly and you see how, like, I love the desert now. I didn't always, and mountains and the ocean and all that. I flip for. It's great. But I also remember flying back to the Midwest and seeing how green it was and thinking how cool that was. But you're right, Mike. Vacation, Harold Ramis directed it, another heavyweight from the National Lampoon. And we all took those trips, too, it seems like, out west. And I remember as a kid going, this is terrible, because we camped. We had a pop-up camper. We weren't campers, but my mom and dad bought a camper after we moved to Wisconsin. We took it out west, and all I remember is sand everywhere. But I look back on it fondly, and we saw Colorado and the Grand Tetons and Old Faithful. It was just, those trips are so fun.
Why do you need my address? We'd like to send a mailer. Brian Doyle Murray.
It's so great. He comes out and he tells them how much the tents are. It's like $45 for 3 tents, and I think Clark says that's a little steep, and he says, "Oh, they're very nice tents." And that price includes scenery and wildlife fun.
Wildlife fun.
That is. Yeah.
And they get to one of them, and it's like, the canvas is all collapsed, and it's like water, and there's a duck swimming in it.
Oh, right, the pool. Yeah.
Yeah, the pool. Oh yeah, yeah, I remember we had an RV too. First of all, we had a motorhome, and then we went from that to a camper. But we didn't take that all the way across. But we used to go down to Florida with it, and Myrtle Beach, South Carolina from Chicago. That's where we did a lot of the camping thing. But yeah, I couldn't. No desire. Like an RV has just like a certain smell to it. And you're right. Once sand gets in, it's in there forever. It's never coming out.
Totally.
But no, it was a great trip, and AM radio, Pete, the entire time. And I remember, I pegged the year. It was either 76, 77, because I remember the song. We go into a different market. Your radio would pick up each top 40 station, because back then AM, it was either top 40, country, or Jesus. Those were your 3 options on the radio. Right. So the top 40, I remember we were hearing Dancing Queen by ABBA, Hotel California, Dust in the Wind.
Stairway to Heaven, maybe?
No, top Not 40, yet. No, we'd skip. But those 3 I remember distinctly we would hear every time, like every hour, it seemed, on the hour. And it's just ingrained in my memory.
We had my dad growing up. He's a great dad. We have a great relationship, but I never understood why he didn't like rock and roll music. My dad was raised like with Irish tenors, and he's a singer, and he loves classical music. And we were driving through Provo, Utah. I don't know how we made our way up to Utah, but I said, my mom was like telling us about Provo, and my dad, this is an actual quote, he said, "Well, any town that plays classical music on an AM radio can't be all that bad." And I'm just in the back seat shaking my head going,
this is going to be a long ride.
Listen to some Kiss or something. Do you have a favorite character, Mike, from Vacation?
Well, Chevy has just great lines in that thing. I mean, it's pretty amazing what he does. And that, real tomato ketchup, Eddie? When the girl, they're at the farmhouse, and the girl is like stirring the Kool-Aid with her arm. And Audrey, can I help you with the Kool-Aid? And just like, she's got her whole arm in the, please. Just great lines, but I love it. And I can't do the lines because they're all foul, but when he finally snaps in the rain and they're trying to bail, and they're in Arizona, and they just drop off his dead mother-in-law at his brother-in-law's house, and they want to leave, and they're like, we just want to go. He's like, what? You're going to bail out now? I can't even do the lines because they're all filthy. Yeah.
Right. I also like the when he gets caught with Christy Brinkley in the pool, and Beverly D'Angelo, who's always my favorite. I love Beverly D'Angelo as a kid, and she says, "Clark, do you like that girl? We swimming naked with her. Do you like that girl?" And he says, "That girl? No, she's ugly."
She's ugly.
Hey, we have a Conrad said he pulled one of those scenes. What scene do you have, Con?
I have both. I have when it leads to Aunt Edna first meeting her.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
In the movie, and Clark losing it.
Let's do. Can you play Clark? You dubbed it?
Yeah.
That's got to be filthy.
Yeah, it's beeped.
Let's do it. Beeps are funny. All right, here's the Clark losing it scene from Vacation in honor of Mike Siegel.
I don't want to be in the car anymore. I want to go home. I don't want to go to Wally World.
Clark, under the circumstances, I wouldn't mind if we just went home. In retrospect, it seems like a pretty bad idea driving out. It's been one disaster after another.
Yeah, it's been a real drag, Dad. Maybe we can try it some other time. Wally World's overrated anyway.
What do you think?
I think you're all in the head. We're 10 hours from the fun park and you want to bail out. Well, I'll tell you something. This is no longer a vacation. It's a quest. It's a quest for fun. I'm going to have fun and you're going to have fun. We're all going to have so much fun we'll need plastic surgery to remove our damn smiles. You'll be whistling zippity-doo-dah out of your ass. I got to be crazy. I'm on a pilgrimage to see a moose. Praise Marty Moose! Holy shit.
Dad, you want to ask her something?
Don't touch!
Don't touch!
So great. I want to say my favorite scene, and it's hard to pick one, but I love when they go to pick up the family truckster, and he's with Rusty, and Eugene Levy is the car salesman, and he goes, "You didn't order the metallic P? Metallic P? No, Antarctic Blue."
I want my super sport wagon with the optional rally fun pack.
This one beats the hell out of the truckster, but I want to make you happy.
If you're taking the tribe cross country, the family truckster is the way to go.
This is the car you should be driving. Mike Siegel is my guest, and we're talking about Vacation. It dropped today, 42 years ago. I can't believe it's that old. But Mike, did you see the remake with Ed Helms? And also, what are your other favorite vacations, if you have any?
I did not see that one with Ed Helms, but I did see the originals. I think they did 4, right? Or 3?
Maybe 5. There's Vegas, European, Christmas. Did they do one other one?
I can look. And you know my theory on comedy sequels, Pete. There's never been a comedy sequel as funny as the first. And if you can name one, we've tried this on a driving game, to pass the time.
Right.
Come up with a comedy sequel that's funnier than the first, and you can't. You just can't. Some are better, some are good. But most of them are disappointing. So 2 was bad. European was not good, other than the couple scenes that are funny. Him
like
constantly driving, around the roundabout. He can't go left, and then but Christmas is a winner.
Christmas
Vacation
is
a winner.
Still not as good as the original, I don't think.
No,
but good.
but good. And the other one, it was just out of Vegas. Nah, I think they're just milking it at that point, which it happened.
Everything they do is for money, but why did the first one have to be remade? Like, why don't you take Ed Helms, who's hilarious, and call it something else and make it a vacation movie? It's not like you can't do that, but it's inevitably forever going to be compared to the first one, and that you just can't do that.
Oh yeah, sure. I mean, they can, you can borrow plots. There's always going to be road trip movies with families. I mean, it doesn't have to be Vacation. They don't have to be the Griswolds. They don't have to be. But, I mean, it's built-in audience. They're trying to, less marketing on their part, I guess. But it does kind of taint the original. But I hope people seek out the original first.
Absolutely.
Because it's so great. I mean, you would never get away with some of the jokes too now, like, dragging the carcass of the dog. I mean, when you look back on it, like, woo, boy, PETA would be all over you with that.
That one and the scene in St. Louis that Harold Ramis said he's ashamed of, and he wished he wouldn't have put that in just from a racial standpoint. But Mike Siegel's my guest. We're going to do a very short break and come back and talk about his podcast, Travel Tales, and I'm going to ask him where I should go. That's coming up next. It's Nite Light with Pete Schwaba on the Civic Media Radio Network.
Come together. Use a little.
As Wisconsin is saying the word bag instead of bag. This is the Civic Media Radio Network.
Who's
who's looking for some free family fun at Fisk Park. It's Amanda with another new Wisco 411 for you, brought to you by Area 509 in Appleton. And National Night Out is on Tuesday, August 5th from 5 till 8 p.m. at Fisk Park. This is a nationwide event held on the first Tuesday of August, which brings residents and local law enforcement and first responders together in a positive and safe setting. There's going to be lawn games, face painting, arts and crafts, concessions, food trucks, and so much more. Get in on the action. Check it out. Go to WGBW.FM and click events.
I'm Dan Schaefer. Let's recombobulate. After weeks of speculation, Governor Tony Evers has finally made his decision. He is not running for a third term. Evers has had an accomplished career as a dedicated public servant for 5 decades and has been a terrific governor for the state of Wisconsin these last 6+ years, and we should be grateful for his time in office. It's been a job well done. But all things must pass. In making this decision to step aside and not seek another term, Tony Evers is doing what he has done time and time again. He's doing the right thing. And perhaps in making this decision, Governor Evers can be the one to turn the tide on the Democratic Party's unwillingness to pass the torch to the next generation. In his own unassuming way, the mild-mannered former science teacher who became Wisconsin's governor can be an example to Democrats across the nation. Because we know what happens in Wisconsin politics often has ramifications that reach well beyond the state's borders.
Find all of Dan's work at the Recombobulation Area.
I'm Rick Smith, host of The Rick Smith Show. If you're looking for honest talk, real stories, and straight-up news that matters to you, tune in to The Rick Smith Show. We're digging into the issues that affect your job, your family, your future. Join me weeknights at 9 on the Civic Media Radio Network, because your voice deserves to be heard. That's The Rick Smith Show, heard weeknights at 9 right here on the Civic Media Radio Network.
Mornings with Pat Kreitlow.
One of the most basic things that a free people could want, not going bankrupt because of health care. If it sounds like I'm banging my head against the microphone, it's that we are having this discussion about having to hold benefits for people because they didn't have proper health insurance coverage, because they're threatened with bankruptcy, which again happens in no other developed country in the world.
Mornings with Pat Kreitlow. Weekdays 6 to 9 on your local Civic Media radio station and on the app.
Doctors Without Borders is delivering life-saving medical care where it's needed most in communities around the world. From bandaging war-wounded patients in Sudan to providing clean drinking water in Haiti, we're in more than 70 countries worldwide, bringing patients from sick to recovering, from emergency to aid, from crisis to care. This life-saving care is made possible by a global movement of supporters like you. Thank you.
Welcome back to Nightlight. I'm Pete Schwaba. Got a few more minutes here before we close out this Tuesday night. My guest is Mike Siegel. He is the host of the Travel Tales podcast and has hosted many TV shows and is a touring national stand-up comedian. Mike, let's talk about Travel Tales. Such a great, you were like kind of in the ground floor with travel podcasts, right?
I've been doing it, since 2011, amazingly enough. So, I kind of got in early, but now everybody has a podcast. So, it's nice that I did get to garner a little bit of a loyal audience while you still could. I wouldn't know how to break through now with a different show. And the thing about travel is it's also a very visual thing. So a lot of people, I would have done a YouTube channel by now or some kind of visual thing, but I don't know. I kind of like the art of interviewing and talking to people and kind of long form interviews and things like that, and just kind of getting to know somebody. So, and I think part of it's also after being on stage for so long and being on an actual TV and stuff, it's kind of nice to not have a camera on me sometimes.
Sure. It's nice you started the podcast about traveling in 2011. You didn't actually start traveling until 2016, and you somehow pulled that off. But
fake it till you make it, Pete.
That's right. if people were going to give a listen, where would they find it? And what episode, Mike, would you have them start with if one jumps out at you?
Boy, there's so many
hook 'em?
hundreds. It depends on kind of what they're into. We've had a guy recently who climbed, made it to Everest, did the actual top of Everest. We've had a girl who just moved to, she was from the U.S. and Texas, and went to London once and decided she wanted to move there and made it happen. And now she's got her own podcast helping people move to abroad. And I'm getting a lot more of that these days. A lot of expats, because it just seems to be more and more Americans are interested in leaving, or at the very least having a second passport, or just, even if it's not permanently, the pandemic taught a lot of people that they could work remotely. And if you can work remotely, it's like, why not? There's digital nomad visas that a lot of countries have that you can go there. All you have to do is prove you make a certain amount every month, and you could stay for a year or whatever. It's like, hey, maybe I'll go live in Thailand for a year or something. Again, if you have kids, it's a hard thing. But if you young person in their 20s, if you can make it happen, why not? I mean, that wasn't an option for us back in the day.
Okay, so I have one more question for you. And I talked about this a little bit at the beginning of the show. I haven't been too many places. I kind of missed my window there. I was in my 20s. I was happy to be seeing America, doing stand-up, and that was all I needed at that point in my life. But what would you tell someone like me or one of my listeners who hasn't really gone anywhere exotic or done much international traveling? Where would you tell them to go if they could only go one place?
Well, I mean, one of the things we always try to do is like make sure people know that it's not as expensive as they think it's going to be. We're so used to traveling around America. People would ask me, how do you spend 3 weeks in Asia? How can you afford that? I go, people spend more at a weekend in Vegas, literally, than I can spend. I can spend 2 weeks in Asia for what people spend. Yeah, I mean, if you're talking on a weekend, you could spend $500 a night on a hotel room in Vegas, and you haven't even eaten or gambled or seen a show yet or drank.
Lost the kids' college funds, yeah.
Absolutely. So it doesn't have to be. So if you have any kind of points, there's whole websites devoted to getting points and miles and utilizing those. But if you've never been anywhere first, I think one thing that really opened my eyes, my first trip was after college. I'd never left the country since before that. And just go to Europe. It's very easy to get around. It's safe. You'll see a bunch of different cultures in a small window of time. And you've heard so much about it your life, and you've seen it in movies and know all about it. You never get a true feel until you're there. So it's very easy to get around with the trains, and now with the euro, where you're not changing money every country like we used to, and it's just easy. So I would go to Europe first, and then use that as a jumping point.
That's a great point too, and you can see there are a lot of countries close together like that. It's not like you're going to New Zealand or that's a great answer.
Yeah, I mean, you don't have to go halfway around the world. I mean, you just got to hop over the pond, and and if you can only do one, go to the UK for a little bit. It's not intimidating. There's not a real culture shock, and there's no language problem. So any of those are all good.
I just want to hear someone say, "Freshen your drink, governor." We got a text here, Mike, from Ross in Madison, whose favorite vacation line is, you might have said this before, he says, I don't know why they call it hamburger helper. It does just fine by itself. That's great, Ross. Thank you. Tom from New Berlin says, hilarious. Tom says, thanks, Pete. Great show using AI to enhance your profile. It's called a comb over. Oh, that's good, Tom. Thank you.
I forgot.
Mike? Oh, go ahead.
I forgot a great line when cousin Eddie walks out and he sees the trucks for the first time. He's like, is that you? Ooh, she's a beaut. Love those green walls.
Yeah. And another one you just made me think of when he hands Clark the white shoes.
Right.
And Eddie says, I remember last time you remarked how much you like mine. And Edna starts yelling, and Clark shuts the door in her face and just says, I love him, Eddie. Mike, so fun. Thank you for making time for the show tonight, even though you're in a hotel room. It's great to talk to you, and great to talk vacation and travel tales and all that good stuff. Hope you're well, buddy.
Thank you. No, it's great to talk to you always. It's fun.
Yeah. We'll talk soon on what I like to call the telephone, and we'll catch up without all
What
these
is
people
that?
listening.
A what?
Yeah.
We can
just text
swear
all the
then,
time.
right? I can do the actual lines. On
You
that
can
one.
swear as much as you want, and I hope you do.
Attaboy.
All right, Mike Siegel, folks. Thanks so much, Mike.
Thanks, Pete.
We'll be back tomorrow night with Matt Miller, Kim Mothy,
Yep.
and
Barry Levinstein.
I keep closing my window. Barry Levinson will be here too. All right. Thanks so much, folks, for your text. Thanks to Mike Siegel. Thank you to Ben Giles. And on behalf of the lovable producer, Conrad, good night, Wisconsin.